Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Mayorga. Welcome back. It's been a couple of days since I did a video, and in that time frame, we had Hurricane Beryl and created a little bit of a mess in Houston. It's over now, and I hope that everybody's doing well. And so, anyway, today's topic is locus of control, and we're going to look at how your locus of control can influence your behavior and influence your relationships or impact your relationships. Right? So we want to figure out what type of locus of control is more dominant in your life because there are two. And we can have both. It's kind of normal depending on the situation, but we do have a dominant locus of control. And locus of control, the idea of locus of control was first introduced in 1954 by Julian Rodgers. He was a psychologist. Okay. And I've always been very interested in locus of control. And in counseling, and when I work with my clients, we discuss what's your locus of control. In other words, from the perspective of psychology or counseling, when someone says, "What's your locus of control?" what they're asking is, "Who's directing your life? Is it you internally, your thoughts, your ideas, what you decide is good for you, or is it external? Are you waiting for the people around you to tell you that you're okay?" In other words, okay? So again, defining locus of control is referring to how much control you believe have in your own life, or do you believe that you have external factors that really are directing you which way to go? Um, a good example of that is, do you always wait for someone to tell you it's a good thing, whatever you're going to do? Are you hesitant to take the step to go forward because you self doubt or you don't trust yourself? So you look for external factors or external people to give you the okay to go forward. And a lot of people think, "Oh, I wouldn't do that," but just think back. You know, when it's one thing to ask for an opinion. It's another thing to determine that you can't go anywhere or do anything unless you're waiting for someone to give you the go ahead. All right. So, uh, again, a locus of control is a conviction that you can handle your own life, or is someone else handling your own life? So let's look at it from internally. If you have an internal locus of control, then you believe that you can handle your own life. I don't need anybody to tell me that I need a degree to become a counselor or to become a doctor or to become a lawyer or to become somebody that, you know, can fix air conditioners. I need to go get educated for that. It's just not going to fall in my lap. If I have an external locus of control, I'm going to wait for outside factors. Well, maybe somebody's, and I've heard this so much. "Oh, I know a friend of a friend of a friend, and they'll get me in." And it never happens. And you're waiting around for this external force to move you forward or to let it fall in your lap. And then if it doesn't, people with an external locus of control will say, "Well, it was fate. It wasn't meant to be." So again, internal, you're directing your own life. External, your outside forces are directing your life. And a lot of people don't like to think about that. They think, "Oh no, I know what I want in my life." But if you really examine what's going on, especially in those times when you're self-doubting and you're waiting, God's going to give me this. And there's nothing wrong with that. I say that myself. Or so and so said that they were going to. I knew of somebody who has an external locus of control and needed a job and believed that this other person was going to provide this job for them. And the person never did. And then this person that was waiting for that job found all sorts of reasons externally. It wasn't meant to be. It was, I don't have good luck. They don't like me. They blah, 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 fill in the blank. See, somebody with an internal locus of control, they would have picked up the phone and called, found out, are there job openings? Are there not job openings? Should I put in an application? Maybe I need to do this. Oh, they want somebody with this kind of experience. Well, I don't have that kind of experience. So maybe I need to go get that kind of experience. So it's really a way of how I look at my life and what I need to do and what action I need to take to make it happen, rather than waiting around for it to just kind of fall from the sky and plant itself in front of me. Okay. So that's very important for us to recognize what locus of control you work off of. Okay. Becoming aware and recognizing this locus of control can prevent psychological distress and negative emotions. The negative emotions are these emotions that arise where you believe that nobody likes you, or it's because you're X, Y, and Z, or because you're A, B, and C, which I've heard a lot. I've been in this career for a very long time. I've was in school for a very long time, and I've heard plenty of people, and I continue to still hear people that blame external forces for what's on in their lives, and they never contemplate or consider making a change and taking control of what's going on in their lives. Okay, so when we talk about locus of control, if you have a high locus of internal control, you're considered active. Just the word itself. You take action. You perceive yourself as having much more personal control over your life, and therefore more likely you take responsibility for what's going on in your life. I remember when I was wanted to go forward and get my PhD. Okay, I graduated from Texas A&M Corpus with my undergrad. Then I started graduate school there, and guess what? We moved to Houston. So I thought, oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, I knew we were moving over there. So the first thing I did is I found out what colleges could be over there, or what universities are over there that I could go ahead and transfer and do something. So we get there, I make a phone call. The chair of the department answers and says, come on down. All right. By this time, I had 12 credits, graduate credits from the graduate school at Texas A&M. I didn't even know that you could only transfer 6, right? That can be pretty discouraging. So I go and talk to the chair. He says, I'm going to admit you, and we can only transfer 6. Well, that's okay. It didn't discourage me. I wanted to get in there, right? Then I started graduate school right away. Within the first year, I burned out. I took a break for a year, and then I went back. See, I had that internal locus of control because I could see my vision that I wanted to cross that stage with my PhD. So I took a year off, regrouped, went back, finished up, and then started the doctoral program there. And guess what? Moving back home to where I had come from. And then I thought, goodness gracious, how am I ever going to get through here? Lo and behold, I get somebody tells me that they're starting a program at my old university. I picked up the phone. I talked to the chair. I got back home. I took a grad program just to kind of get my a course, get my feet wet, and waited for when they would do the next cohort. So you see, I was taking charge of how I wanted to make sure that that would happen. I could have said, if I had an external locus of control, well, that's fate. It wasn't meant for me to get my PhD. Oh well. And then I would have continued to say that to people. It wasn't meant to be. There was all these things that were happening, and it just wasn't meant to be. But I have a high locus of control internally, and so I was going to make sure that I got my PhD. So that's a very good example of someone who believes that they have control of what happens in their lives, even with all this other things that are occurring. I didn't say, oh, God doesn't want me to go to PhD program, or people don't like me and that's why, and or my husband's job is constantly moving him over. All those things I took into account, and I'd say, I don't care. I know what I need to do. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I reached my goal. But I've worked with a lot of clients who come in with an external locus of control and are not aware that they're allowing these outer factors or people or events to determine how their life is going to turn out. And when anybody has an external locus of control, it's called passive. And the reason is because they're not taking action in their life. They're allowing the things around them to determine if they're going to get their PhD or if they're going to go ahead and get their undergrad or their grad. They don't actively get involved. They'll say things like, "There's nothing I can do about this. It was fate. That was meant to be. Oh well, it's the flow that I'm in. It's the luck of the draw. It's controlling my future." And you'd be surprised if you take a few minutes to just listen to how people talk, that they may be saying things like that. Okay. So it's really very important to determine what is your locus of control, because it will be affecting your life. It does affect your life. It affects the life of young people that are in school, those that will determine that they're going to go for the debate team, or that they're going to be president of the student council, or that they're going to be in sports or things like that. I know of someone, I know of a lot of people, but this particular person really enjoyed playing a sport. And because he went to a very poor school, there wasn't very much that they could do for that sport. So when he went to high school, he just decided not to do anything, even though he really liked that sport. And he was passive and said, oh, well, that's just the way things are. Instead of seeking out the coach for that sport in high school and saying, I really want to do this, he took a passive stance. So again, external forces. Okay. So external locus of control, we're more dependent on what others think or what other wants for that what other people want for us, opinions or thoughts, ideas. When we have an internal locus of control, we're less conforming, where you can say less obedient, and that's not a negative, but we just simply believe that we know what we want or what is really best for us. We'll ask for opinions, but I won't make a decision based on just your opinion. I'm asking around, I'm trying to get facts, all of those, and then make the best decision that I believe is best for me. Okay. I resist social pressure. Somebody with an internal locus of control, hey, come on, let's go over here, let's go over there. No, I don't think so. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to determine what's better for me. You go ahead and do that. But an external locus of control, you'll see it in groups, and they shift based on social environment, and that can create a lot of problems. Okay, so I hope that you can determine what your locus of control is and how it is affecting your life, either in a positive or negative way, and maybe contemplate how you can, and because there are things that you can do to change from an external locus of control to an internal locus of control. And you can think of your locus of control is how much do you trust yourself when you're thinking about what you want to do in your life. Okay. So you might even contemplate, does trust have something to do with that? But I have a second part that I will do another video on. And this will be talking about how it can impact your relationships. So I hope you have a good day. And thank you very much.